Brothers and sisters, greetings. Father Frank Pavone here speaking to you from the New York headquarters of Priests for Life. And in this video, which I've titled You Need to Vote, we are going to start a series of videos between now and Election Day addressing a problem that many voters are asking me about and asking other leaders about, and that is, how do I vote when I find it difficult to choose a candidate that I am comfortable with? So we're going to address all the different aspects of this, because now in a lot of states, early voting is beginning. And we're urging people not only to vote, but to vote early, to use early voting, which in many states allows you to go to the polling places before Election Day and vote beforehand, or absentee voting by absentee ballot through the mail. We urge people to make use of these methods. So now there's a very particularly important season of time now when the election actually is underway. It's like an extended election day. So let's just deal with the first question about the obligation to vote. The Second Vatican Council mentioned about the duty to vote. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says that this is part of our moral responsibility to vote. You think about it, the opportunity to elect our leaders, this is not something that everybody in the world has. And it is a right that we have that so many people have defended, have fought for, have died for. It's a basic freedom in our country. We think of the civil rights movement. Dr. Alveda King, who works on our team, reminding us in some of her recent videos about give us the ballot, one of the battle cries of the civil rights movement, is a right that we take for granted, but it's a right and a privilege which imposes an obligation. And the bishops remind us of that in their document, Living the Gospel of Life. They say voting is not merely a privilege, it is a duty, and then it's an opportunity to advance the culture of life. And one thing I want to say about the duty to vote, the Catechism, the teaching of the Church, does not say that voting is merely an obligation when it is easy. When it's an easy choice, well, then you have to do it. But if it becomes too difficult, if the choices become too hard, if you become too uncomfortable, well, then you can sort of let it go by. That's not what it says. It says voting is a moral obligation, period. Why? Because we are part of the nation whose leaders we are electing. We and our families, our children and grandchildren, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, all are going to live under the laws and policies and court decisions which end up happening as a result of the people that we elect in the elections. So it's out of concern for others and for the good of the nation that the obligation to elect the right leaders comes about. And that doesn't change when the choices are hard. That doesn't change when the choices are confusing. That doesn't change when we have to do more homework in order to decide who we're going to vote for. And that's something that's part of the duty of voting, is the duty to do our homework, to learn more about the candidates. And remember, as I'm always saying, not just about the candidates, but about the parties that they represent. What are the positions? What are the policy preferences? What are the worldviews and philosophies of the party represented by the candidate that you are choosing? So the first point here in our You Need to Vote series is very simple. You need to vote because it is a moral obligation that does not go away simply when the choices are hard. When the choices are hard, it means you do more homework. You do more consultation. You can consult with us. You can consult with many sources. You can consult with the campaigns of the candidates. If it's a moral duty, then let's take our homework seriously. So many people I'm talking to, they're making their decisions for or against candidates based on sound bites, based on rumors, based on one single thing that somebody said. We can't be superficial about this. We know the game of politics and the media. People who are trying to destroy one or another candidate or person, they'll try to send something out there that sticks in the minds of people and causes them to withdraw their support. We have to dig deeper than that. This is another thing that the bishops tell us in their Living the Gospel of Life document. Analyze campaign rhetoric critically, when a candidate is talking about his or her opponent, you have to take what they say critically and go yourself back to the original sources and find out more about what was said and why it was said and what it means and what the person might have said but then corrected later on. This is too serious a matter to rely on hearsay, gossip, unsubstantiated statements, or just campaign rhetoric. We need to do our homework. The obligation to vote means the obligation to inform ourselves about the vote. But let's encourage our neighbors, my friends, not to say, oh, well, I'm not voting this time simply because it's too difficult. Instead, let's rise to the occasion, and as the people of God, let's make the difference in our nation that we have both the freedom and the privilege to make. Now, we've set up a special website called youneedtovote.org. Go to youneedtovote.org if you or someone you know is hesitating about carrying out their duty to vote this time around. Youneedtovote.org. Listen to the homily that is there, an audio of a homily I gave at the national gathering of the Catholic Media Conference a few months ago. And then you'll see also some talking points, which I'll continue to add to that page, and I'll continue to add these kinds of videos that I'm making now as the days go on. God bless you. God bless our nation in this important election cycle. We're going to go through this together, and let me tell you something here, brothers and sisters. We're going to win victories for pro-life. God bless you. Talk to you soon.